Welcome back to the channel. It's LtBuzzLitebeer, and after a few days of much needed time off, I am back on the Starfield grind, and we are now at 17 days to go until early access begins, and there is a whole host of Starfield topics we need to get through with this one. We've got Pete Hines doing what Pete Hines does best. Some more information on Starfield swag, a quick discussion on melee weapons because they are always of great interest to me, and then we've got to touch on a recent IGN article concerning just how big of a launch Starfield is for Xbox, of course sprinkled in with just a mention of Baldur's Gate 3. Thanks again for all the continued interest you've been showing my Starfield uploads. The channel has been growing at an insane rate, and I really do appreciate your support. In case you haven't yet hit subscribe, please do so, and don't forget to ring the notifications bell. Likes, comments, shares are greatly appreciated. As per our usual standards, chapters are included for easy viewing, and let's get this one started. First up is this tweet from Kareem Jovian at KJovian over on X, and I showcased a bit of his work in a previous Starfield upload. But according to his latest message, just got word from a confidential source that Microsoft will be holding an interactive launch event for Starfield. Let's just say they were really excited when talking to me about it. And this is to be expected from Microsoft, right? I mean, Starfield's launch is a huge day for the Microsoft brand, and so we would expect them to be putting on some sort of production such as this. I will, of course, be looking for details on this as we approach September the 1st, and once they are available, expect a follow-up report here on the channel. And while we're on the topic of presentations, remember that the Bethesda Developer Q&A event is happening on Wednesday, August the 16th. I've already registered and submitted a question for the devs. A little spoiler here, my question was asking them for an honest answer as to where they felt Starfield ranked compared to previous BGS releases in terms of bugs and polish. Who knows if they're going to pick my question or even answer it, but expect my recap for this dev event to post around 3 to 5 p.m. EST on Wednesday, August the 16th, outlining all that was said and anything new we learned from their answers. And further sticking with this theme of events and social media, and Pete Hines, head of publishing at Bethesda, is basically doing what he does best. And just to give you a bit of context here, the Fallout 4 remaster or next-gen update was announced back in October 2022, with no actual reveal date, just it was going to happen sometime in 2023. Fans of the franchise have wanted this for a long time. And since that 2022 announcement, there really hasn't been a lot said. More rumors and speculation than anything. So when this message hit X a few days ago, aimed at Pete Hines, based on previous hits from Uncle Pete, this answer should have been no surprise. Hey, at DC Deacon, any news on the Fallout 4 next-gen update? Has been awfully quiet for quite some time now with nothing shared with the community. And here's Pete's answer. Response. Don't know if you heard, but we are shipping a new game in 3 weeks. Bit of a priority. When we have an update, we will share it. So, very clearly, the team at Bethesda are laser focused in on Starfield, which is confirmed once more when Misfit fired this question off at Uncle Pete. That's cool, but we want to know when the game is going gold. By the way, full stop here. I've touched on this matter before here on the channel. It's an outdated industry term. And then Misfit continues, and when is the pre-download? We don't want to know about chairs. Cyberpunk did the same thing. And the chairs reference was someone further up in the timeline firing off this Starfield marketing blast tweet. And so, once again, Hines gets a tad bit snarky with him. Take a deep breath. I have an amazing team. We know what we are doing. And just to translate these Pete Hines responses for all of you out there, he's saying, hey, we're neck deep in Starfield right now. It's our only focus, and when it's ready, you'll know. And by the way, nice catch here from Idle Sloth over on X, posting pics of Uncle Pete rocking what looks to be the Constellation Edition Collector's Watch over at QuakeCon. I did not purchase one of these collector's editions, and if I did, I don't honestly know if I would ever break out that watch and wear it in public for fear of having it stolen or just outright losing it. Next, we've got 2 quick bits of Starfield swag information, starting off with this Aloha Keyboards full Starfield keycap set, which includes novelty and colored keys. Now, I'll include a link to this site in the video description, and by the way, I am not sponsored by them. I've had 0 communication with them, and I cannot vouch for their products because I have never personally tested them out for myself, but I am saying the set does look pretty cool, and maybe someone that has firsthand experience with this manufacturer can sound off in the comments section below. Now, the second update is to this incredible looking AMD RX 7900 XTX GPU unveiled by AMD at QuakeCon. And I know some of you have been asking, but it is not for sale. Expect to have to enter through, as they say, special promotions and giveaways from AMD, Bethesda Softworks, and partners, and AMD is only making 500 of these exclusive GPUs. Okay, now on to an area of Starfield I truly want to know more about, and it comes down to combat, and to be more specific here, melee combat. Now, we've all seen the Starfield Direct presentation, especially when Dane Olds reveals that you can go full melee by investing into the Neurostrike skill and just punch your way across the galaxy. And as someone that did several completions on Skyrim using nothing but melee, I can tell you that it's not only challenging, but a blast to try and pull off. The area that I've not seen a lot of information floating around about is with the melee weapons themselves. The Direct shows off some very short clips of our characters switching to use either the combat knife or rescue axe, and then there is a longer segment where our character throws down what looks like a crowd control freeze mine and attacks the frozen enemy with what looks like a full-on katana. And for many players, they are more firearm-centric, but I am all about melee. Melee builds, the best gear and talents for melee, Battlefield, The Division, it doesn't matter to me. If there is an option to go full melee, I take it every single time. This is an area I would love for Bethesda to give us just a bit more knowledge into. Not full-on spoilers here, just a bit more to satisfy our cravings for melee gameplay. Sound off in the comment section below. Are you all about that melee life? If not, what is your go-to playstyle? And let's finish this one up with this recent IGN article titled, "Starfield is the biggest game for Xbox since Halo 5. And this one is authored by Ryan McCaffrey, the very same person at IGN who got in a lengthy Todd Howard interview back in June, and under Todd's guidance, got to play about an hour's worth of a slice of Starfield. Now, I will include a link to this one, of course, in the video description in case you want to check it out for yourselves, and I'm not going to read it to you verbatim, but a couple of items really stuck out to me, starting off with this statement. This is the first game from this team led by decorated game director Todd Howard in 8 years, Fallout 4. And here IGN is doing its best to make this point again, that Fallout 76 was not on the A team at BGS or on Todd. It's been well noted that 76 was developed by BGS Austin's office, formerly known as Battle Cry Studios, but even to this day, there is still these little attempts for the crew that was not a part of 76 to try to do their best to distance themselves from that disaster. A disaster that I have spoken about in past uploads is one of the major contributing factors as to why I no longer pre-order any of my games. Back to the article, McCaffrey states that he has previously played this game and there was nothing there to persuade him that Starfield is not the biggest game that BGS has ever made. And here's where he begins to look into the past for Xbox exclusive titles that rival just how big this launch has become for Starfield. Notice I did not say will score as well, be received as well, just for sheer anticipation as we approach the live launch. He mentions Halo 6 and moves on. Forza Horizon 5 certainly had a strong launch, but McCaffrey states it was a bit more limited due to its theme. He mentions Gears 5 and Gears 4, and both were certainly strong, finally taking him all the way back to 2015 and Halo 5. Now, McCaffrey argues that Halo 5 had a brilliant marketing campaign, one in which players were promised by both ads and the outstanding Hunt the Truth tie-in podcast that they'd be hunting down a renegade Master Chief. And although Halo 5 did not live up to the excitement created by the marketing campaign, it certainly had a big lead up to launch, stating demand was real and it was pent up. as Halo 5 was the first mainline Halo release for the Xbox One, and it was coming nearly 2 years after that generation of console had arrived. Now, to be fair, McCaffrey's article makes no mention of anything to do with best received or most highly rated Xbox exclusive titles in the history of Xbox, which is either going to be Halo or Halo. And I honestly can't remember back to when Halo 5 was getting ready to launch in order to fairly compare it with how Starfield is preparing to do the same. I remember the marketing barrages for Gears of War, Knights of the Old Republic, and of course Halo and Forza. Is this the biggest Xbox release since Halo 5? I honestly don't know. Maybe? But I will say this. Starfield's launch expectations are at a boiling point. You've got the fact that BGS just hasn't uncorked one in so long. Xbox has been really dry overall for first-party titles. The recent flops like Redfall, you've got Phil Spencer's statement about even if Starfield launches and is an 11 out of 10, and dare I throw into the mix Baldur's Gate 3 and how that RPG is rewriting records and upping the greater gaming landscape, which I love to see, but overall that's a lot to take on. And somewhere in there, I think you could make a strong argument that Starfield surpasses Halo, Forza, Fable, and Gears, and is the biggest launch to hit the platform, besides Halo 1. But this is just my take on it all. I always look forward to reading your feedback in the comment section below. Sound off about anything Starfield related. Remember to hit subscribe and ring the notifications bell to receive my latest upload alerts. Likes, comments, shares are greatly appreciated. All my social links can be found in the video description. Shout out to the now over 134,000 of you that have taken the leap and hit subscribe. And as always, a special thanks goes out to my patrons over on Patreon. Thank you to those of you that are firing off those YouTube super chats, and until the next one, this is LukeTheDuke signing off.